Abusuya ya makwaba shonko so eba POG Media ene yɛde mɛkɔ highway ne so highway ne deɛ ensɛm bebree wɔ so a yɛn nso yɛagye pene sɛ yɛbɛma yɛ abadwafoɔ no ahu deɛ ɛrekɔ ɛne deɛ ɛreba na dɛn na ɛrekɔ so ɛwɔ highway ne so. Ɛyɛ Matthew Opoku Prempeh a yɛfrɛ no NAPO ɛna n'aso ayɛ hyia ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa koraa na wei ɛna Dumsor crisis na aba no Ghana for obia ebo ne din sɛ NAPO ɛna ɛyɛ energy minister nti ɔno ɛna ɛyɛ sɛ ɔhyɛ na nneɛma ɛdeda n'akwan mu na Ghana for aka n'asɛm aka bet ɔmpɛ sɛ ɔbɛyɛ n'adwene sɛ ɔbɛtie deɛ ɛrekɔ so no na wei ɛna esi ano na Addo Akuffo was strike on NAPO a ɔba abɛyi n'adi afiri energy ministerial position because ɔse NAPO ɛyɛ obi a wafeeli a ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa koraa nti no na NAPO ne time aso sɛ yɛba abɛsake no afiri energy ministry a sisi ano naso ayɛ hyiri nti no sisi koraa no energy ministry koraa ne yɛyi wafiri hɔ ɛne running mate no nso deɛ ɛno nso ɛho nsɛnsɛm ɛwɔ hɔ a ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa koraa. Kelvin ɛkɔ Taylor aba ɛde nsɛm bebree abɛto dwa na nsɛm a Kelvin ɛde bɛto dwa no ɔkyerɛ sɛ NAPO ɛyɛ obi a ɔmo sɛ ɛmfata running mate a energy ministry hɔ koraa no wɔntumi ambɔ adwuma na ɛnyɛ running mate to Bawumia ɛno na ebitumi amoayɛ adwuma. Yɛbɛpɛ sɛ yɛbɛmi abidwafo no bɛmi akɔ na yɛakɔ akɔtie nsɛm a Kelvin ɛkɔ Taylor ɛde ɛto dwa about NAPO ne sacking na yɛba abɛsake no na ansa na yɛbɛkɔ no ɔwɔ nsɛm kan bi afa hyɛ yɛ comment section like na hyɛ ma afoforɔ nso ɛnsa ntumi ɛnka bi aha ɛyɛ POG Media madam ase.
As a Ghanaian, I don't care. You can say Mahama it's your life. We are talking about here. It's not one so if you are going to think say the decision you take tomorrow or 7 December is about me being happy, then you are making the biggest mistake of your life. And now ECG in summer Ekoso from 2014-15, especially 2015, every 2016. Na a year Dumsor ebaye. Let me move to the side a little bit. Dumsor baye. Well, we share Ghana around the world. Our Ghana ni. A day as some of them catch a Dumsor and the ECG board chair. Catcher say Dumsor challenges will end in a few days. On say this new guy on the board of ECG Siciano. Quickly, he has come to tell us to say Dumsor will end in 2 or 3 days. Now, say assembly banner will start with some questions, sir. Then they will refuse to give you the answers here. On say boldly, whatever occupy office, he's throwing things out as the board chair of ECG. Now, it's a light, among foster this questioner. This guy will turn around and tell us to say he is not the one who is supposed to give out timetable, but he's able to tell us when Dumsor will stop. You see, sometimes I am but you see these young boys and these people in politics. Majority of the time, I know what you say. When you don't do politics, and I say, when you about politics, and able to say we get pissed off because you have been able to tell us say the Dumsor will stop in a few days. Now, when Dumsor comes back and we are holding your balls and pulling your balls and say, give us timetable, this same ignorant guy will come and tell you he is not in charge of timetable, but he's able to tell you when the Dumsor will stop. When you feel disrespect, no, when I brought from pe, when I oye broni, na se oye politician, I want to be fine ye omo to abamau. And then they be a catch before say, Mama sa and Akuffo we efa somewhere Jimmy. That is the missing point that you people don't get. If you have been able to tell me that Dumsor is going to stop in a few days, then when Dumsor is intensive, you should be able to provide a timetable. Because you cannot tell me, say, you know when it's going to stop, but you cannot provide timetable. How were you able to tell me how it will stop? Then you know what you have. When we hear people like these speak and tell us and disrespect us in our faces, and disrespect us on our faces, and every single day they come on TV and come disrespect us, insult us. This is the board chair of ECG. Now he has been able to tell us, say, Dumsor ebejai in the next 2 or 3 days. That's fine. Yate. Now, see a light engine, so then people start coming out and attacking this guy. Is anyone in Ghana going to tell us to say we don't have the right to be questioning the ECG? So, I'm on my timetable, Anna. We have the right to be questioning ECG because ECG has been able to tell us that Dumsor will stop in 3 days. As I speak to you tonight, I'm on for light to do. As I speak to you tonight, businesses are closed down because they Dumsor. Now, this guy. I was set ultimately when they will produce timetable because Dumsor Ekoso. He was newly appointed. He's basically walking in the footsteps of Gajepo. Waba, he's going to show no respect to us. The moment you start to question this guy, they will say you don't respect who NDC. The media, some of them, journalists, Omoye, especially Dumsor Bay are very intensive. Who you watching me and now who are watching me? Again, Omokachere Ogana, Omoka say, Mahama Nedi Dumsor. Did any journalist sit on TV to tell you, say, especially on radio, to tell you, say, Dumsor no a generational problem? Did any journalist in Ghana, majority of the journalists we see in Ghana today, time at Dumsor ABC na about critically? This country. Time at Dumsor 2015, ebe serious for Ghana. Ana yenina yekase Dumsor na yekase John Mahama di Dumsor NDC Dumsor. Obi kachre say a generational problem say ebia ye machines any other day. The journalist on TV so ka say Dumsor no NPP NDC mismanagement Mahama mo no mo bokro no Mahama mo no mo bu Ghana for NDC for the DC kano. Today when these same journalists are speaking on Dumsor, they do everything possible to do what? Take out the people who lead the institutions. Now when it comes to Dumsor from 2015, what say the energy minister and the president, and the main people we were talking to in 2015. Majority of the journalists on radio, we were talking to the energy minister, and then after the energy minister, we will mention John Mahama's name. In fact, the way we were basically putting the news out was that John Mahama's appointee, Kobna Donko, who is the energy minister, they have failed because there was power crisis. In 2015, the topic was about the energy minister and the president. The name we were using, John Mahama and Kobna Donko, to a point that Kobna Donko honorably, respecting the Ghanaian, the voter, the citizen who paid the taxes now, he respectfully said, I have resigned because me Ghana timelines we solve Dumsor. Nyomana makrasa eba be solve enyambaye. Into for the meantime, I will step aside. Sir Energy Minister and the Mahama stepped aside. Still, this same media, majority of the journalists were directing the message to the president and the energy minister. But today, when you listen to them, and Ghana for dialogue, kasa, incommodie are very important. So, obiti TV so eti radio so kasa. Take your time and analyze the panasam na okano. Today, Obiti say Ekuya Poki. When they get the opportunity to speak on Dumsor, do you know what they do? They will tell you all the sweet things. Abai way, be bold and tell us. Abai way, be bold and tell us. Dumsor ba, must Dumsor ba. That's a general statement. Today, they fail to mention Akuffo's name directly. Today, one thing they are holding their tongue about anytime they are discussing this intensive Dumsor in Canada, they refuse to mention the energy minister's name. You know why? Because they know, say, Omo party, no, Baba be NAPO as the running mate, and they don't want to associate NAPO, who is the energy minister, to Dumsor or with Dumsor. Recently, I was talking to somebody in the States, and this person works with one of the media houses. And I make a chance, so Ghana is on the ready here. And also, you guys, you're having power crisis again, because in 2017, you did a story on that. And I said, yes. And I didn't come on. I said, so what are they doing? Bro, Neo. And I'm catching, so they are working on it. There's a government in place. We just want to see what they can do. Oka said, who is the energy minister? And I'm so Matthew Opoku Prepare, because I need to read news. And I say, in commodity man, so he's being considered. Me catch Sani Pan say, Sani Power energy minister in Ghana today. No, he's being considered by the flag bearer of the NPP to be his running mate. And Nipan say, how? This is the same person overseeing your energy problems, overseeing this crisis. How can you be considering that person who has not been able to, at the end of the day, deliver? Because NAPO has been given a job to do. As we speak today, NAPO has failed as the energy minister. So, which politician Juma will sit and say, the person who is failing to provide the energy, to oversee the sector, he is the person I think is competent to be my running mate on earth. And he na who say, time na John Mahama tesono. 2015 I say Kobna Donko a energy minister. Oh, Kobna Donko bon, Kobna Donko to me sustain power. Now John Mahama beka che Ghana for say I am going into election 2016, and that my dream when we say Kobna Donko say bi omo say ono na di Dumsor ba ye on to me solve the super problem no. Kobna Donko ene be running mate. Mo Ghana for then can beka che John Mahama. But today, when these journalists get the opportunity to speak on Dumsor, they will speak on Greco, they will speak on ECG, they will blame the government as a whole. They will not specifically mention the person who is in charge of the sector, because Napoya Santini, because Napoya MPP, because Mahamudu Bawumia is considering NAPO to be his running mate. They know NAPO has failed, but they don't want it to be clear that NAPO sector now or Tesoro were fairly woefully. Into what they are going to do is they are going to generalize the problem and blame Gridco, blame ECG, blame the government, but never make NAPO's name the icing on the cake. Because the moment you put NAPO's name as the icing of the cake, the issue is you are making Ghanaians know that NAPO has failed. And we all know NAPO has failed. Now listen to this lady very well. Tieno. She deliberately avoids NAPO, goes after ECG, goes after Gridco, try and talk about the government, but the NAPO guy who is in charge, they leave NAPO because they know NAPO or Santinia you ever consider as a running mate. Language, I keep telling people, say, be a hypocrite. You don't just see it in their face. So what comes out of their mouth today and what came out of their mouth yesterday. And then I don't say nipano or your cromfo or your dada for or some agenda be. But so when you say na debi over dada overhead. Listen to this thing.
Communicating to us why there's Dumsor. Why? Say I can say ECG board say omo pacho obianfa omo bonenche omo na first Dumsor no e be try very soon. These are the things that we want to hear, but any enough. Beyond yet more pacho no. Dear na why you can say Bawumia, whoever advised Bawumia so unko Italy ninipa no why anybody. In the middle of a Dumsor crisis, you don't go to Italy. Bawumia. In the middle of a Dumsor crisis, you do not go to Italy. Mr. Rao, with all due respect, Bawumia, in the middle of a crisis, you do not go to Italy. Brapa. Go Italy. So FPP is running away from the Dumsor, but you have to face it. This is your issue. I told you we have to say, criticize you, so I know what because sometimes so criticizing the partner no who say Mahama no, and then Dumsor ni bia na aba no. And unim Ghana here the Mahama time a generational issue. Ni eni mfidie na ebe no kane ya na ma Ghana fo anya bi. And any generational issue, ya won fidie no, ye betimi ama no, ye betimi a generate electricity ni bi for Ghana for. Ye de ka. That is the truth of the matter. Ye de ka. No krani woman na obi asuro no, ye de ka. We cannot pay. Why can't we pay? This is the one says, Bawumia to me, Ministry of Energy. Somebody must be talking. Why are you running away? Mujane say, Mupo, you will do so. It's a Ministry of Energy for no, me say, ya flow, bia, say, oh, they are trying freeway. Where's you see freeway? Where's you see freeway? Where's you see freeway? Now, look, your poku cocker be said, I'm going for cry dinner terminal. Somebody, a whole team, our energy ministry, chief director, so on. We pay all of you, Greco, ECG. You are all in the value chain. We pay all of you a salary. Somebody should be explaining.
So you listen. Utibia Okanikasano. Also, Okasana or right now, it is the ministry. Who is the head of the ministry? NAPO. Nobody is speaking. She avoided saying that the minister in charge should be held accountable. She didn't go there. Now she says, Ministry of Energy. Somebody there must be talking. Who is in charge of the Ministry of Energy? Who is the minister? You are bringing Gridco. She is bringing ECG. She is bringing Vacu. She is bringing all those people. But the person who is in charge of the sector is NAPO. But onye because or a Jandam queen. Jandam a try him and agawe. And a tribe journalism no you. Because ne dieno no ne busia or ya santinite so no. And Bawumia is considering NAPO some vice press a running mate. Into what she's going to do is she's going to make you think that she's speaking on Ghana's problems. No, she's speaking on Ghana's problems, but shielding the problem itself. Because if the energy minister or national sector is avoiding or has decided not to speak on the matter, then it means he is supposed to walk. He's supposed to be sacked. We as journalists are supposed to tell the people that the energy minister or NAPO ombu Ghana for into president onjimiya on pamunapo. But we will not go there. We can go after Komna Donko if it's a Komna Donko no ni NDC for na nam omo yen tafo omo yen kwasia for yen kran for omo yen dienzema for omo yen fante for yen wona for until we can go directly and go after Komna Donko because ono na in charge of energy in Ghana. But today, so who's a Jandam Queen we are this tribal peacock or the radio swa. What she's trying to let you think and they say problem ni nye nipa ba kwa or her sector no so problem. ECG, Gridco, Vacu, DN. But we are talking about the ministry because in the first place, you were saying during Mahama's time it was a generational problem, and then there is about money and who is in charge of that ministry, who is supposed to take the fall. You cannot go to ECG and sack everybody at the ECG. You cannot go to Vacu or Gridco and sack everybody there. But when you change the head of that sector, there will be some changes down there. It goes down and it trickles down. So why have you ignored Napona or the minister? Because and the Bawumia choosing Napo and the running mate. At the end of the resume so as the running mate of Bawumia, he's a failed energy minister. He has failed. Because we are in power crisis and he is in charge of the power crisis. Into why is Bawumia even considering the NAPO? These people are shielding a very smelly meat. NAPO or born in politics or born to sell more money. But my Akan brothers teach you my santifua or journalism to say, they will come, speak, scream, make you think, say, Ghana problem ni but the main poison on can want some. So Shana, at the point Bonapudin, she stopped. How can you speak about Dumsor as a journalist in an editorial without mentioning the sector head? How? Are you crazy? How can you speak about Ghana football without speaking or talking to Eyede Keto Kriku? How can you speak on anything without speaking on the person who is in charge? Because near Tiana Napoka say, under his watch, Everything has been solved. So why today, energy sector, we are not making NAPO the main topic, but going after ECG, going after the Greco. It is because a interest, omu jimimo, when or a jandam queen, why is a peacock? That is how she was built. She cannot sit on TV or radio and say NAPO must be fired. Because NAPO ya santiniti so noa. Because they sit here and ebeko go the kenko kona NAPO Jimmy Kra yabamana koi. So that is what they are doing. That is the language. That is dialogue. These are the people who destroy nations. Now in brebe to so ka se obi nye yampamono. Ya ka se abon. Ya se obi ne di enim. Adentina Mahama time no yankwachi Haruna Drisu ntwalechi adeni yankwachi eyede betimo Drisu ampam no but Kobna Donko na pressure down so if you say Kobna Donko was in charge of our energy. He was the minister. Now then ended there NAPO ene hye no yentumi mbo NAPO din. We are talking about a Kabeda, we know. We are talking about ECG, we know. We are talking about Greco, we know. All these institutions fall under the Ministry of Energy. Who is in charge? And this end Bawumia and I say Adiachina Bawumia Begina TV so say I have chosen NAPO as my running mate. You have chosen a failure. He is currently in a crisis he cannot solve. What tells you say and now what shows you say NAPO can become a running mate and solve Ghana's problems? Muma yenjai tribe na yediye politics no. Muma yenjai tribe na yediye journalism no. Muma yenjai sankwasiade no na yenka no kure no. Na yama Ghana for nipa oma ye konkwasumu yama Ghana for obia onye competent nipa ontumi mwaye eno ne betumi achichire man. But we don't sit on radio and TV and misinform the people because some hey oba Brony Chrome, oba New York Times, oba Washington Post, oko any news outlet, and they want to report on Ghana's energy crisis. When they are sending a reporter. The reporter is coming directly to the sector minister. I'm going to be honest with you. So New York Times guys cover Ghana energy crisis. Now almost send a reporter to Ghana. The reporter is not going to go to the energy sports ministry. He's not going to go to the environmental minister. He's not going to go. He's going to go to the energy minister. He takes full responsibility. So why do we sit on radio and TV and make Ghanaians think, say, and the problem, no, and you're the sector minister, and institutions that are supposed to take responsibility. If the sector minister is effective, if the sector minister is not corrupt, if the sector minister is fit for purpose, if he's not there as a party fanatic, if he's there as somebody who has knowledge about energy generation and overseeing an energy sector, we would not be here. Until we need to talk about the competence of the person leading the sector. And NAPO has no knowledge about energy. NAPO is basically a party foot soldier who, because of tribe and his big nose, that's why he's there. So we all know the problem. So why are we not speaking to kick the problem out? Akuffo and Bawumia, nobody will associate themselves with NAPO at this point. I'm telling you. No intelligent politician will associate he or herself with NAPO because NAPO is automatic failure. Prove to us that you can make us believe say excess power now today we have excess power. Then we will know that you have mind. You can solve another problem. Over education, you messed it up. The guy is at energy. He's messed it up. So why would we as Ghanaians still be telling Ghana for say NAPO is intelligent to be a vice president, to be a running mate? Eche generals now to no enya wa adwena ade adwuma ebia na ebia wo tribe bi sebio opese edi Ghana so ntina wotewo. It is our jandam queen and nimsa peacock no. This is what they do and enya no nkwa wo omodoso. These are the kind of diseases that they are making of Ghana. Dirty people. They don't care about Ghana. They don't care about development of Ghana. Omo chain obi dia ba no maka say no no kure ni mase. Na ebeye bibia related to omo tribe, omo dia they find ways, they dilly-dally, they use language to mislead you people. And that is our problem in Ghana today. You get what I mean? Mahmoud Bawumia at a point was able to tell John Dramani Mahama say solving Dumsor is not a priority. Mahmoud Bawumia obi na no catch John Mahama or say solving Dumsor ain't a priority. So you see the kind of person. No wonder Mahmoud Bawumia, even though NAPO has failed, he is still insisting that a failure like himself, because Mahmoud Bawumia is supposed to solve the city or the city depreciation problem. And he himself, Bawumia, has failed. He could not solve a problem. The job we gave to Bawumia, he could not do it. NAPO has been given a job. He is not able to do it. But Mahmoud Bawumia always recognizes failure. That's how it works. Failure recognizes failure. Because if Bawumia is wise, if NPP, they are wise, if my colleague journalists are not tribalistic and are wise, we will all call for the head of NAPO. Simple as that. We should all be sitting on radio and telling the president and the vice and those people at the economic management team to tell NAPO to work. Because at the end of the day, the background of is not about any energy. So if Bawumia thinks to say solving Dumsor by Mahama wasn't a priority, then there's no way you have a problem with NAPO not being able to solve this energy crisis. That is why he's considering NAPO as their running mate. That is how foolish we have become. Every journalist today should be saying that NAPO should be fired. Into NAPO, you're running mate. Ediana, or the Baba catch me, and now. Dear no catch say why ye access CD into Yemfa Ghana and Shenism. Because we are still in Dumsor. The IPPs, we've not paid them. We are owing over $1.2 billion under his leadership. So how do you come to tell me you are competent enough to handle this country as a running mate? Now look at this. Sa Jandam Queen we know Jandam nyina atro political atro sa girl we ono ene di anim. Oh they waka penti the nim. We twi the nim say de ene kwaje tofe. Ena okasa wambo na podin. Se na po ya santini. Na po ya MPP ni ono so ya santini MPP ni. O shilde ne de na wa wonani abuo no wo nkran ni jimifo no. Wo eye de hahantani otwe. Wo jimi no wo dwen se okon ama wo. Efia poki na oto no ono nkoma o okon ama eye de akonwa. Okwama asante. It is asante be say Ghana. She does not care. Or you inquire say what Ghana we know about jantra bet in America no. Or you know mutie adia muntie nkofo we yie. Omo no ma say Ghana o ma no. This Queen of Jandam. Then him fear say peacock. Now this is what is happening. The next 15 minutes we will start Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman's episode. Now yeah, sorry, and
abusua we ne ensem a ekoso ewo highway ne so NAPO na Kevin Ekobedu Taylor aba be my details about Dumsor na ekoso ewo Ghana hase ne sakin na e ba be sakin nyina no or the aba betu e be da abedwafo asese omoje pene kokoti sa audio we e de MI aha POG Media medamase.